Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, US city volunteers continue their relief work for Hurricane Sandy victims by handing out cash cards to a Muslim community. Prevention is always better than cure, and experts say there are ways to prevent children from getting addicted to the internet. And in our regular look at Taiwan's unique traits, we learn the hard work that goes into producing a documentary film. In the United States, aftermath of Hurricane Sandy, the Tzu Chi New York chapter continues to carry out relief distributions and care for survivors from various backgrounds. This time around, Tzu Chi volunteers handed out cash cards to the Muslim community in Brooklyn.
45 days after Hurricane Sandy, Tzu Chi volunteers in New York continue to care for the flood victims. This time around, they distribute cash cards to a Muslim community in Brooklyn, where they spent 3 weeks to spreading the information of the distribution.
I really want to thank the Tzu Chi Foundation. They really have gone above and beyond. I also want to thank a brother here on the ground who has been working day and night, trying to make sure that this thing goes smoothly.
We went, gave flyer one by one. We went to house by house. We went each house and say, if you need help, let me know. We took their names, get email addresses. That the responses that I got.
To put my family some safe place, to get a new apartment, I can buy a lot of new stuff for my kids. A lot of new stuff, like bed, furniture, or their computer. Thank you, thank you.
I have my store for 17 years. Next to my home is gone. Basement is gone, my store is gone. All water is coming up to here. God help, nobody help. God help everybody, you know.
Well, my mom's getting some money because of Hurricane Sandy ruined our house. We don't have heat again.
We live in Breezy Point, and we got flooded, so we lost our basement and our first floor. They said it'll take about 6 months to a year before we get back into the house.
Got it yesterday at the tree lighting. They were giving out free toys for the children for Hurricane Sandy.
Thank you so much for volunteering. I know there's people.
I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so impressed. I wish that my community and my people could be just one ninth, 1/10 of the dedication that Tzu Chi Foundation has.
As this year is coming to an end, Tzu Chi's year-end blessing ceremonies are being held throughout Taiwan. In New Taipei City's Zhonghe and Yonghe districts, Tzu Chi volunteers held their community year-end blessing ceremony on December 14th, where they provided live coverage to all participants.
At the year-end blessing ceremony held in New Taipei City, Tzu Chi volunteers are providing live coverage of the event for all participants.
Working with multiple machines is a challenge because we are so used to work with one, and not everyone has the same point of view, but this is a good opportunity for us to work on our team spirit.
The students of the calligraphy class are putting their skills to good use. Bringing blessings to the local residents through Jingzi aphorisms inspires them within.
An open heart and pure thoughts makes life beautiful. When I wrote this, my heart opened up.
The more Jingzi aphorisms I write, the more inspired and enlightened I feel. I'm very happy to form kind affinities with the brothers and sisters.
The Zhonghe and Yonghe Tzu Chi Liaison Office held a total of 11 year-end blessing ceremonies over 4 days, and approximately 2,000 members of the public took part, spreading blessings far and wide.
Moving to China, in Zhejiang province, Wang Jianyou, who runs a hair accessory gift company, came to Taiwan this year to take part in a volunteer training program in Hualien. Upon returning home, he threw himself into Tzu Chi's work and also offered his house as a local retreat for Tzu Chi's recycling and training activities.
Close to 50 people joined a Tzu Chi introductory event here in the living room of Wang Jianyou, who has turned this room of his into a local retreat as a way to get his neighbors involved in Tzu Chi.
Every month on the 10th, 20th, and 30th in the afternoon, we will gather to do recycling. There is so much joy in doing good deeds like this.
Turning his home into a Tzu Chi venue has always been a dream for Wang. Traveling to Taiwan's Hualien for volunteer training, Wang stated his firm intention to do so in front of Master Zhen Yan.
I invite everyone to join us to learn more about Tzu Chi's brand of humanitarianism and philosophy, as well as the Master's Dharma.
After a half a day's work, the room that was once used to store finished products was transformed into a space infused with Tzu Chi's warm humanitarianism.
We first moved out the unnecessary items. It was easy and didn't take any particular skill. It was just making sure that the right things were in the right places.
After aligning the room, the 50 participants here today are also working to align their minds and lives.
From today on, I will do good deeds as well as encourage everyone to join me in doing good deeds.
Each and every person in this world is good. I hope each and every person enjoys a blessed and harmonious family.
Realizing his dream, Wang now creates a positive affinity for both himself and his neighbors.
Is there a cure to internet addiction? Experts say the best way to prevent internet addiction is for your child to find a hobby or interest they love. In continuing our series on internet addiction, we meet the Director of Psychiatry Department at the Kaohsiung Municipal Xiaogang Hospital, Dr. Ke, to hear what he has to say about curing internet addiction. Dr. Te, for confidentiality reasons, has opted to remain off camera during our interviews. Let's take a look.
你觉得你生活中最感兴趣的是什么？
不知道。你不是玩电脑？
玩什么？
电脑吧。
玩电脑。嗯。那你呢？
We。
最感兴趣的是什么？
耶。耶。
打电脑吧。
电脑嘛。
电脑。
电视啊，好卡。
If you ask people what they do in their spare time, I think most will answer online games or maybe Facebook. I think half your answers will be internet related. Going online is not a bad thing, but we have to consider the reasons why it's so mainstream now.
Do physical interactions really pale in comparison to cyber world interactions?
We really need to spark elementary school students or junior high students' interest in things other than the internet. This isn't something we paid attention to before, but I think we need to have preventive measures like a vaccine. If you don't have it, you might not get sick, but once you are sick, it's too late.
Through Dr. Ke's clinical experience, he finds a child who shows an interest in real-world hobbies has a chance of recovering. The most fearful situation is when the child has lost the motivation to interact in the real world.
Those who are addicted are still eager for real-life connections, no matter in love or friendship, but because his games are still there, they are not motivated to change and continues to live in the cyber world.
A sense of belonging, self-worth, and real-time interactions are all things the internet can satisfy. Researchers in Korea did a study on web obsession, which found the number of young children addicted to the internet to be on the rise. Nowadays, typically siblings play separately on their electronic gadgets and not with each other.
My requirement is that my child must do their homework first, then I'll give them time to play on the computer.
Whether or not online games are helpful with regards to study habits is still to be determined. However, its effect might be costly.
Sometimes when I go to class and I have to bring my child, I will give him a tablet computer to play with, and he will sit there quietly.
Why do so many parents use tablet computers? Tablet computers can replace parents temporarily as children can interact with them. However, the consequences of growing up with tablet computers is still unknown.
Dr. Ke reminds parents it's not that they can't use these gadgets, but we need to watch the usage allotment, as electronic gadgets have replaced much of our real-world interactions. With a smartphone, one is constantly connected to the internet. Research in Korea has shown that a smartphone with internet capabilities is a prime attraction for young adults. As a psychiatrist, Dr. Ke feels this addiction to the internet is not something that can be solved by just treatment, but it is a reflection of society itself.
Psychiatric treatment really plays a small role. Most of the time, my clients show improvements not because of anything I did, but because they might have found a friend who they connect with at school, or they suddenly learn a new skill or find a new hobby.
In real life, I don't drive much, but in games, I am a Formula 1 racer. In my cyber life, I lead a much more exciting life. However, if I never leave it, I will miss out on so much of real life. Try at times to shut off your computer and spend some time living your real life.
Recently, the Cardiology Department at the Taipei Tzu Chi General Hospital was awarded the Sustainable Health Award from the Department of Health, thanks to its director Huang Xuanli and his team. 460 patients that suffered from arterial sclerosis in their lower body were able to make a full recovery.
This is Grandma Huang, who almost had her leg amputated due to a vascular obstruction in her lower body. Luckily, through peripheral blood surgery conducted by the medical team at the Taipei Tzu Chi General Hospital, the senior's leg was saved. For the past 7 years, more than 460 people have benefited from this medical procedure.
The mortality rate for patients undergoing bypass surgery is 1.5 to 6% because of the difficulty of the surgery and the high risk of anesthesia. Luckily, all the patients that underwent this kind of surgery at our hospital came out of the operating room safely.
To conduct a peripheral blood surgery, doctors need to work long hours in a radioactive operating room wearing lead aprons. In spite of the high risk of occupational injuries, when see their patients' lives return to normal, they say it was all worth it.
Thanks to our medical teams, many patients that had to go through amputations or those that couldn't undergo surgery recovered from their sickness. Some of them even came back for their checkup by themselves. It touches your heart when you see them in good health again.
After years of hard work in the field of peripheral blood surgery, this year the director of the Cardiology Department at the Taipei Tzu Chi General Hospital, Huang Xuanli, and his team were awarded the Sustainable Health Award by the Department of Health for their contributions to the field of medicine and patient care.
The director plays an important role in the production of a successful film, with documentary films being particularly difficult to make, as filmmakers will come across all different situations and need to be flexible, as well as build a good relationship with their crew. In today's feature report on Taiwan's unique traits, we meet two documentary directors and learn the hard work that goes into producing a documentary, as well as the challenges that arise along the way.
At 10 a.m., the filming crew is getting their equipment ready for the shooting.
With drama films, you will be given more preparation time, whereas in making documentaries, you need to be flexible.
就先 setting 一下 没有，先看一下现场状况啦。
We are coming to film one of my roles today because she is leaving the country next month and she is moving back to Pingdong from Taipei. I'm recording the last 3 or 4 months of her life before she heads overseas, so there's a contrast.
When referring to documentaries, one usually thinks of them as an observation of someone else's life. However, every director has different ways and techniques of filming. Lin Yanjie, for example, likes to communicate with his actors first.
我们先拍一段，就是你自己一个人收起你的感觉，然后我们不要讲话。一边收起一边自言自语的吗？
No, in fact, I did go back when I was working. I went back there. Last time, when we were shooting a part of the film, I went back and stayed there.
Apart from presenting real-life stories, documentary directors also add their personal message to the film.
Some said that with documentary films, they portray the realistic side of things. I think that is not entirely true, because the director actually makes the movie through his perspective and ideas. I want to film a shot of her from behind, from all different angles. You keep rolling, and I will edit this part so her figure is from the back.
Though the government provides funding to promote the domestic filming industry, nevertheless, documentary films still do not receive much support.
We received 1.5 million NT dollars of funding, but with the scale of our movie, we actually need 5 million. I think documentary filmmakers in Taiwan all share the same problem of lack of funding. Whether it is corporations or the government, they don't provide much support for us.
A documentary film of 60 minutes or more may require a year or even a decade's hard work. Directors all agree one of their greatest challenges is seeking funding from corporations or the government.
After all, we are using funding provided by either a corporation or the government, so we have to also put in advertisements as per their requests. I think what is interesting about documentary films are that they are so surreal, and what moves us are the people and things that have existed or happened before.
For any filmmaker, a documentary is a great way to get to know life from many different sides. I don't think everyone has accumulated enough experience to produce a creative artwork. Making a documentary is definitely a good opportunity to learn from and be inspired by someone's life story.
Despite having to compromise with reality, each documentary film director is motivated to work in the industry for a different reason. And they all share the same goal of promoting documentary films and taking Taiwan's film industry to the international stage. Staying in Taiwan, 35-year-old Li Xingying is a single mother who decided to open her own bakery. Although her bakery business has just started and isn't making much, the flexible hours allows Li to spend quality time with her children. It is something that money can't buy.
Inside the baking room, Li Xingying is busy making bread. What most people don't know are the hardships and tears behind her strong front.
If I get a job elsewhere, I can't take care of my kids. Whereas now, this is my own business. So when I'm done for the day, I can go pick up my kids.
Speaking of her children, Li's eyes begin to tear up. No matter how difficult life may be, she never once thought of giving up. It is her determination that adds a touch of flavor to her bread, the flavor of love.
There are a lot of flavors and they are delicious.
The texture is good and it's good quality.
Thanks to good word of mouth, Li's customer base has grown and she has now moved her business to a busy street corner. But the move has also presented her with challenges.
When it rains, there is no shelter and cars can't park here, so the customers just leave.
No matter how challenging it is to succeed, Li Xingyin holds firm to her motto of not giving up, with her children being her source of motivation to carry on.
In our next report, we meet Hong Cui-zi, who is a vocational counselor for the Eden Social Welfare Foundation. For the past year, Hong has accompanied Xiaoma, who is mentally disabled, to work, during which she has taught him how to take the train and ride a bicycle.
上化下车之后呢，来看一下经过这个地下道，地下道才能走出站。
Accompanying Xiaoma out of the train station while giving him directions is Hong Cui-zi, who is a vocational counselor at the Eden Social Welfare Foundation. For the past month, she has been teaching Xiaoma how to get to work, even going as far to put marks on utility posts to help him remember the way.
所以这边一定要记得要左转，往这边来，到前面都会有提示你的。他在10天左右就可以把比较。
It took him 10 days to remember the way to work. Seeing him happily at work now, I feel I have gained so much.
我觉得我得到的更多。
Since his first day of work, Hong has been by Xiaoma's side. Currently, Xiaoma works in a laundromat, and in spite of having to travel from Baihe district to Shanghua district every day, he says he's not tired at all.
Life is better than before. I used to work as a temp, and the pay was not that great.
Hong says with encouragement and support, people with special needs can also find success in this life.
With Taiwan being hit by a cold front in the past few days, Kaohsiung Tzu Chi volunteers visited a nursing home where they spent some time singing and talking with senior residents. As the nursing home is about to relocate, many residents expressed their worry that they would not see the volunteers again. However, the volunteers reassured them that no matter where they end up, Tzu Chi will be there. For the past 7 years, Tzu Chi volunteers have been coming here to this nursing home to spend some time with its elderly residents, regardless of differences in faith or creed.
I feel blessed to be able to be by their side. Whether it is the love of God or the love of Buddha, it is all the same. In this group, love is collected and gathered for the sake of all.
For 7 years, volunteers have shown up here monthly to join residents in song. In that time, volunteers and residents have become good friends. Hearing that the nursing home will soon be moving, both volunteers and residents find it difficult to let go.
We just have to carry the blessings in our heart. Although we will no longer be here, in our hearts we will continue to pray for their well-being.
With grateful hearts, the volunteers bless each of the residents, knowing that no matter where they end up, they will find peace and happiness as Tzu Chi will be there. We go back to the United States at the end of our program today and join teachers and students at the Tzu Chi San Jose Academy in Northern California as they organized a fundraising campaign to help Sandy victims. Parents also helped by making and selling pizza and donated the proceeds to Tzu Chi. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.